Okay, let's see if we can. I think it worked right the first time. There's always one method is always more complicated than the other one, and this one like freaks out. It doesn't like the camera horizontal. It doesn't like the camera horizontal. I don't know why. If you're filming videos, horizontal is much better, unless you have a vertical TV. You're gonna be yeah. If you get the picture in the center, you're gonna have these black bars on either side of the television or whatever viewing thing you're using. Anyways, we're back. We're a little later than expected, but I woke up a little later than expected because I stayed up a little later than expected. I still didn't get much sleep. Anyhow, we've got our sticks that we did yesterday. We've got the bricks, which I suspect are probably still, here's everybody's favorite word, moist. I don't know why that word has a bad connotation for some folks that can't handle with it. And I don't think I'm going to be able to dump this out just yet. It's still percolating. I guess I could dump it and then put another batch in. There's that too. Let's see what happens here. It's something to scoop this stuff out with. This is good. And we'll go make another batch of this stuff. And it's interesting. I use black paint, but it ends up looking actually brown. There's like brown residue on here. So maybe it picked up some of this ceramic dust. These are supposedly made out of ceramic, these bricks. Who knows? This might actually be the best way to do it compared to all the other ones that I've done. I'm going to just lay these guys out here. Now, the color on them is just fantabulous. It's exactly what I was looking for. Let's put it that way. Fantabulous. I don't think that's a real world word. Like, what's that ridiculous word that they actually added to the dictionary? It's a made up word. And well, the one I'm thinking of, there's many of them that it's a humongous type word. It means that. Anyways, they added it a few years ago. We know somebody who's that's like their favorite word to use, and they added it. And let's see if we can get all these in one more batch. That would be awfully nice. And we'll find a way to get it on there. A little more. All right, now we need to get some water and some black paint, and let's do another mix, and then this will be the last one for all the bricks that I have. I think this is This is the cup that we used, is it? Yeah. Up late last night. We were up till, I didn't get home till about midnight. We had some the friends of the family that were in town yesterday, and we went out to dinner, and my brother and I, and then we sat around and talked, and I didn't get back until about midnight. So, or maybe I got to bed about midnight. So, I got an alarm at 5, I got an alarm at 6. I slept through the 5 o'clock one, don't remember. I woke up to the 6 one. I think I woke up a little bit before, and I always, I got my phone by the bed, and I always see what's on there. And I awake to a new video by Lindy Beige, who I haven't been very good about watching his stuff. And his clickbait title is, "What would happen if you found out your wife had been a lesbian before?" So, I woke up to watching his video. He was at Historicon one year, but I didn't get to talk to him or anything. I really didn't know who the guy was when he was on there, but I happen to like the guy. I think the guy I think it'd be fun. Okay, this is the one for the wood. So let's go ahead and put water in this one, and let's make a concoction. I get the weirdest things recommended to me. Well, I should get that one recommended to me because I'm a subscriber of his. I subscribe to his channel. And in typical fashion, I fucked up again. So let's just put this back. Let's do this in the same order. Let's get Mr. Black. No, we don't need to use the folk art one. That one's too early. Let's use the black paint we don't like as much for this. So yeah, that's way past my bedtime. Way past my bedtime. But he's been ranting about what he needs to do to get his videos on the algorithm. Oh. Yeah, I'm just going to do what I do, and if that works for people, that's fine. And if it doesn't, well, that's fine too. When I was starting the YouTube thing, I had a lot of questions. Like, what questions like, okay, what see, this is totally unrehearsed. I don't rehearse anything. What video editors you should use. And, so I've subscribed to 3 or 4 different people that I don't really watch them anymore, but they give you ideas of how to get into all those algorithm questions and stuff like that. And I'm just like, one of the guys said basically, like, don't worry about it. Just do what you do. People are going to come and watch you for consistency. I don't do this to make any money off of it. I don't do it to get more subscribers. The whole subscriber thing, the way it works though, is the more people that are subscribed to you, I think the more it gets recommended to other folks, which the only interest I have about that is, I may have a message that might resonate with somebody who's interested in whatever it is that I'm doing. And it would be nice if it got recommended to those folks, but those people are always putting out videos. I mean, they're putting out like 2 videos a day about like, how do I get more subscriber counts? And then their next video the following day is, I got to 2,000. How can I get more? It's just like their hobby is basically putting out videos about YouTube stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's just too much work. Well, maybe they can do that for a living, Maybe they're allowed. Maybe they can make a living doing that. Which, in that respect, maybe that's not that bad. But there's a lot of hidden stuff that you just kind of have to. If this had not been so, this is pretty user friendly to do, and then you encounter some issues that. Things that worked yesterday don't work today, and that's what's really frustrating. Because if I would have never been able to make the first video, I would have been like, oh, it's too difficult. I'm just not going to do it. But it was like easy, and the next time it was easy, and then the third time it doesn't work. I'm like, well, why? I did everything the same way. So there's definitely mysteries in there. Now I need to look at my pipette thing, which is not where I should have left it. Did I move it over here? When I'm working on stuff, I like to move things off to the side. I'm a dolt. Here's my mixture from yesterday. That's it. More drinking. Caffeine, of course. I'm going to continue making mistakes, aren't I? Oh, well, I can deal with it. Where is my... That's what I need to do next. Is this it? No. I would have had to put it somewhere that if there was any dripping left on it, it wouldn't drip all over the place. Fuck it. I'm going to go get another pipette. They're in the garage. I'll be right back. I'm going to grab 3. That way I won't need it anymore. I haven't watched a ton of his videos, but my favorite one is the one he did on half tracks. That was a great video. He has his little models and stuff that he shows up there. Yeah, he was at Historicon one year and as a guest speaker. I think this year they only listed 2 guest speakers. One of them was Richard Clark, and one of them was the guy from the Sean Bean's 95th Rifles thing. Which honestly, I started watching that one decades ago and watched, I don't know, 5, 6 episodes. It just didn't grab me. And I like Sean Bean. It just didn't grab me. You know. Mr. Greg, I noticed that your live stream from yesterday is not available on YouTube. It's probably still processing it. I don't know what it is. If there's been something, I didn't find out about that whole Microsoft outage thing until like yesterday evening. But the internet's definitely acting weird. I tried to do something on the TV yesterday and even this morning, and it's just there's lag on it. This isn't connected to the internet, so this is just going from. So there's weird things afoot. It's been a while since you caught a session. What am I working on? I'm working on bricks, my Greg. What's up, my Gregness? Out in winter. I'm getting really miffed. I'm getting a bit miffed, you people in Australia complaining about it's so cold down here. Well, move to Florida. Why don't you come here during the summertime and we'll flip-flop. Is that what happens when you get older? You're cold all the time? You weren't. Well, you're not one of them, but just, there's lots of Australians that are in my feed. And they're always complaining about the cold. I'm like, bring it. Florida winter, I'll take it every day. Actually, I'm okay with the heat. I just don't like the heat at work while I'm wearing, like extra stuff on. Here, I'm going to take a shower at night anyways. So does it really matter if I'm sweaty or not? Well, I'd rather not be, but, it's not a big deal. Hey, Marcus, they were adding questionnaire to videos I watched yesterday asking what problems I had encountered. Oh, so they must know it's a problem on the video feed? Yeah. Yeah, something weird is, afoot. Oh well. I didn't take them down. I'm telling you, I'm doing the least amount. I'm lazy. I'm not that I'm lazy, but I need to spend my time doing this, not working, figuring out video stuff. So I definitely go with the path of least resistance when it comes to that. Well, if I would have gone to Historicon, today would be the day that I'd already be 3 hours into a 15-hour drive. So yeah, I don't miss that. And then I have to go into work and clean up everything that I left done. And Greg wasn't there. So why go to Historicon if Greg's not going to be there? We had snow and sleet this week with more expected next week. That's some extreme weather. But you live in a place that I would be surprised would be considered Australia. You know, it'd be like cold here. But you're up in the mountains. Tony in chat, I don't want to cause any diversions. Uh-oh. But at some point I vote for a video where you review metal figures. Perhaps I missed it. Love the one I did on the Japanese. What Japanese? You talking about my Japanese World War II figures? I could do that. I don't mind you causing a diversion. What I don't like doing, I love to talk about different stuff, and I love helping you guys out. Because sometimes when I go and look at this old stuff that I haven't seen in a long time, I get excited about it too. I mean, I haven't seen some of this stuff in 20 years. The problem that I don't like is when I'm making a video and the video is so many pains in the asses to do. The processing and stuff. And when I make a video, and I usually have no expectations, but when I make a video specifically that somebody says, hey, make a video about such and such, you get this idea, maybe it's just human nature, that you're going to get more views, and you don't. So when I'm doing this and I get no viewers, well, no viewers is bad because it's hard to stay on track, or I get 100 viewers after the fact, it doesn't really matter because I'm doing this as my painting session anyways, and you guys are helping me out and just keeping me here and not going and playing with the Xbox or doing something else or, or exercising, God forbid. No, I stay on task because of you guys. So that's super helpful. But when I make a video, there's a lot of editing and stuff, which the editing of the video is actually kind of fun to do. It's easy to do. But you have this expectation that, okay, well, I'll get 3 times more viewers than my normal show. And then it doesn't always work that way. So I've gotten to the point where I'll do things for me. And it's not that I'm being an egotistical, but then I don't have any expectations of what it's going to be. I don't know if that makes any sense. Because demoralization is bad. But you like the thing I did on the Japanese, huh? I've helped me on. Did Mitch go to Historicon? I don't believe he did. You helped me out. I just want to order the Juela bricks. Well, look, this is what you got to do to them. You got to put. Now, you may not want them this dark. And honestly, this is the darkest set I got. But crap, I should have kept some of the original ones so I could tell you that, so you could see the color difference. But they turned out freaking great. And where'd they go? Did I snort them all? I don't do that stuff. You guys should know that. Whiskey's good enough for me. I don't even drink. Although I did have 2 beers yesterday. When it was late and I didn't have a raging headache. It was amazing. What was it? What did they have on tap? It wasn't Sam Adams Summer Ale or whatever. It was excellent. These will lighten up a little bit. Look, they came out great. So, I think we're learning stuff together. And I think if I've learned anything in the last year, it's just start painting and just paint your way out. Because this whole, well, I don't know how it's going to turn out. Well, what if I don't like it? Just fucking do it, man. Stop being a sissy and do it. That's the imp on my shoulders saying that. Stop being a sissy and just do it. You know how it is. Well, I'm sure we all go through that. Painter's block. Been watching. I'll be staining mine when I get them. If you stream it, they will view. Yeah, well, it's... And I'm not a technology guy. Because if I was, I would have found a way to put a Discord channel. And then you guys can actually talk on here. I don't know how to do all that stuff. And I get frustrated when things that should be simple aren't simple. And so I'm not the guy for that. I'd be willing to do it. I just don't want to get frustrated with it. So I try to complicate things. So you want to look a review of figures. All right. Well, you better be careful what you fucking ask for, because I may just do it. Not only that, I may just do it right now. Let's go look at some figures. Bam! I hope you like 20 millimeter. because that's where we're going. Well, the first things first, I gotta find them. Let's take a look at some figures. Let's talk figures. This is figuratively speaking. All right. I know which figures I want to look at. I just gotta find them. And they should be in here. On the bottom, maybe? Oh, yeah. Okay. What we got down here? Fuck the Germans. I don't hate the Germans, but there's so many people that do German with a side of German and more Germans, and there's Germans on the side. They need other people to fight. Ah, yes. The lads. That's who we want to do. Oh, we'll talk about these guys. A lot of this stuff is just not available anymore. What's this? More Jerry's? No, these are they're commie bastards. Okay. This is Amerikaners, which I don't have any paratroops. I don't like U.S. paratroops. I'm not trying to knock the veterans. Let me throw that in there. I'm not trying to knock the veterans. I'm just... not a huge fan of them. And if you're not a big fan of something and things are really popular, you tend to become like even more not of a big fan of them. Oh, I'm going to bring this up because I just happened to see it. This is in his bag of bad guys. Bad guy bag. Somehow I picked this up. And this is a Britannia figure, which I'm not a fan of. See this face this guy has? Seen one, seen them all. All the figures are the same. And he is definitely a big-headed guy with short feet. Sort of like Essex style, but he's got a really, really big head. Anyways, I got that. Who's it supposed to be? Ronald or somebody? I don't know. It looks just like everybody else. If you're going to clone, if you're going to have a whole army of clones, make sure your original clone is better looking than that guy, you know? Sticks, and more sticks. I'm gonna leave these in this color and just see how it works. And they should work. I know I'm not gonna throw them in here. They should work okay. We're going to just set this off to the side. Let's look at some figures and see exactly what I got at the Brits. I know I've got tons of Germans. I only have 4 British figures painted. I just kind of did them on a whim. Just wet? Yeah. Oh. You got some Britannia Soviets and German. I agree. I like some of the... yeah, the sculpts are okay. It's just the faces, you know? And it's okay that they have that face, but it's like that book that I have on the German army. I'm such a fumbler. With glasses. Let's see. This book on the German army I pulled out yesterday. This particular artist, and he's a better artist than I am. Okay, I'm not an artist. But I think after I painted a second figure, I'd be like, you know, I need to change how these guys look because everybody looks the freaking same. So, this. Everybody has the same freaking face. You know, and I think this artist, who is this artist at the beginning? Stephen Andrew. He's probably a nice guy, but I wish he'd change his faces a little bit better. It's not very inspirational, let's put it that way. You know, and they actually look like the Britannia figures. They're kind of short. And, you know, there's people that are that proportion, but like everybody is that proportion? A bit odd. This is just one of these whim things I got in the store. However, the book that many of you probably have, and I think is excellent for pictures, and this is a compilation. This has come out in very many different versions in the past. I'm sure you guys, you know what I'm talking about. This has been around for ages. And what this is it's basically colorized versions of photographs. Okay, so it's a photograph, so it's like the right proportions. And let me just open it. I bet there's going to be Germans on the page. Oh, I was wrong. Yeah, so these are all photographs, and they're colorized with, I don't know, watercolors or something like that. Hey, look at there. It's one of the 10 worst empires in history. If you know what I'm talking about, then you haven't seen. Yeah, but this is actual photographs of folks colorized. I really like this book a lot. I don't know that it's as useful now as it was when I got it, because now we have the internet, and that's usually the first place I go to look for stuff. So, yeah, I like that book. I like the art in that book, or the pictures in that book. Okay. So if I'm going to go through my Brits, and I thought more than this, then I might as well sort them into different groups. Now this is I think all of these are going to be Dave Alsop's sculpts. Almost all of them. And he has some later British infantry and the earlier ones. And honestly, I'm a bit ignorant. I'm really anal retentive about, is that a right version of the Crusader tank? But I'm not so worried about, that uniform's got the wrong Y straps. I don't get into that. I'm not a tailor. You love that book? Had it at our local library. I think it had almost certainly checked it out. Yeah, it's a great book. That and the Then and Now books. They had like a Battle of the Bulge Then and Now, and a Normandy Then and Now. They had those in my college library. Back when they weren't available, I actually considered renting it out and not returning it. I didn't do that. Even though I'm like the only person that would have been interested in that. I didn't do that. Now they're available on Amazon. Now everything's available on Amazon. Okay, so here are the Britishers, as I like to call them. And that includes Australians, all the Commonwealth guys all together. Now, it's not any desert infantry. They didn't make desert infantry for that. I've got 4 guys painted. I guess I might as well grab them. Can't remember what their name is. The officer, is a corporal an officer? Yeah, I call him an officer. A guy in charge. I think his nameplate broke off. But they're the old basing anyways. I got to redo them. So let's pull my 4 Brits out. And why do I only have 4? I just kind of painted them on a whim. I wanted to see what it looked like. And these were probably done with Games Workshop paints. And these were probably done around 1995. Now the basing sucks. The rest of the painting I'm still happy with. And these are all Alsop's sculpts. Let's see. Let's get a little closer. See if I can't knock this thing down. And let's tie this down so it doesn't move on me. Oh, good. It catches right there. You have the Blandford book for World War II uniforms and the Funkin. Funkin, I know what you're talking about. Are the Funkin books that accurate though? So these 4 figures are painted. I'm going to rebase them when it's time to do that. And let's see if we can't adjust this light a little bit so we don't get more shadows. Let's see if we can put this in a... No. The raw nature of the stuff that I show on this channel. Hey, I'm not an expert in this, and I really haven't. Whoa, see, I'm not an expert. Let me prove my point again. Okay. How's that? You guys seeing okay? Of course, I can't get in here. All right. We're still on. We're going to put you on ground. We're going to unplug this. And we're going to plug this cord in over here, where it's not in the middle of anything. Now, maybe it's the stupid raw nature you guys like. Like, man, I don't know when Tony's going to spill something on himself or stab himself. Well, that doesn't happen. If you're looking for me to stab myself with an X-Acto knife, and if that's what you're here for, you're going to be sorely disappointed because it doesn't happen as often as you probably would like. To keep you entertained. I don't know if I can do that much of an angle. Let's see. What if I lower this? Okay. Now let's say I want to show a figure to you. Can you see it okay, or is it still? God, there's just a lot of shadow. There's a lot of shadow. Okay. It seems like there's a lot of shadow. Does this look okay? Let me know if it does before I go further. And we'll put them here. We can bring them up to the camera. Let's see if we can get this uncockeyed. Yeah, I don't know why there's so damn many shadows. I mean, I got a freaking hot light right here on top of them. Okay. So these are the 4 figures that I have painted. We have Privates Campbell, Sharp, Duncan, and this guy was a Phillips, but his name broke off. These are the 4 figures I have painted, and they're incredible sculpts. I'd take a picture of them and show you up front, but up close. But I really like these figures. And this is from their late war. So I'm going to split up what I have for late war from their early. I think probably the easiest way for me to tell them is the helmet netting. Anybody who has the helmet netting like this is going to be the late war figure. And as you can see, I've already glued some of them down on pennies and stuff like that. This is what I use for my basing for them. So this is actually a Tommy gunner. And I don't know what proportion the Brits used the Tommy gun in Northwest Europe as opposed to the Sten. Actually, I don't know when the Sten came out. I'm pretty sure they didn't use the Sten in the desert. I have a feeling that that's the case. So, so this guy is now one thing that's really nice about these figures. I don't know if I can show this in the if this comes out. Dave. Let's see if this is better. Dave, I think this is better, and the shadows might actually help with this. Decided to put on some figures their actual rank in 3 dimensions on there. So you see this guy is some version of a sergeant. Well, he's got 2 chevrons. So what is that? I don't know my British ranks. So this is probably like a squad leader type guy. So you can see that it has it there. And then on this side, he's got it as well. It's a little bit more faint. The other thing is on some of these figures, in this one, it has the unit. A lot of the British units have the little symbol in a semicircle on here that would actually, it'd be like one color background and one color of the print, and it's on there as well. So that's a pain if you don't want to do it, but I find it valuable because I don't have to, I can just paint by numbers, so to speak. Corporal had 2 chevrons. Okay. Corporal! That's this guy right here. Okay. It's just, maybe you can see somebody. Let me show you this guy's face. Okay, so this guy has one chevron. So is he a lance corporal? Ah, it's so many shadows. Why? Let's see. There we go. Let's tilt it like this so you can see his face. His style is um almost like an oil painting. I just it's just kind of hard to describe. Like I'll look at like he made some Napoleonics in 15 millimeter for Old Glory. As soon as I see him, I know which his sculpts are. He has a very distinct sculpting style, and I happen to like it. And his faces all have character, and they look, you know. So Lance Corporal, is that the junior officer in the squad? I know it varies a little bit. Is he the number 2? Anyway, so Phillips is Lance Corporal Phillips. These guys right here, let me show you an example. So these guys have the little motif for the unit, and I decided to paint them like the 50th Division because they actually had little squares. So the little 50th Division is basically a black square with 2 T's kind of interlocked in red. Well, I didn't try to interlock the T's. I just put a little red dot. Anyhow, love these sculpts. I just can't say enough good stuff about them. And I think they're still available. My only one gripe with these figures are older, so the metal that comes in them is softer. So if they bend, you got to bend them back, and they'll bend again, and you got to bend them back, and eventually the metal will fail and it'll break. That's the only bad part about it. But if you can catch more modern castings, they'll have a more pewter alloy, and it should be better. Okay, so we've got the corporal over here. So let's figure out exactly what we got in our Brits. We'll move him over here. Officers over there. Guys that have an extra chit. This guy would have an extra chit in the game. All right. What can I say about a Bren gun? Well, I think a Bren gun is awesome, but I don't like the ones that have the stainless steel tips. It just looks out of place. This guy has no rank whatsoever, but just an all-around great figure. So I'm going to put him in the support weapon area. All right. Now, these are all the late war ones. The early war guys will end up looking like this guy. This guy is part of a mortar crew. Now, I'm going to use them in late 44. I'm sorry. I'm just, I'm not that picky. I do the same thing with the Germans. I got some of my Germans that have the stone gray pants with the field gray tops. I mix them in, But this guy, actually, of all of his faces, this one's not great because his helmet's kind of pushed back, and he kind of has this goofy, like, looks like a cartoon character. Looks like Dagwood from Blondie. I don't know why I thought about that. I haven't seen that stuff. I haven't seen that in 40 years, probably. I don't know. He's got a cartoon-like face. Anyways, he's part of the mortar crew. He's definitely an early war one. Now the helmet changed at some point from like more traditional World War I style to one that was more evenly sloped. It's kind of hard to tell, but this one has kind of a flatter helmet. So this is kind of like the late war one. But I'm not going to worry about that stuff. But he's part of the mortar crew. He's one of the guys sitting around for, waiting for fire for effect. So we're going to move him over here. All right, so we got machine guns. All right, and then we've got, okay, here's a guy. I do have some FAA figures, and here's one of these FAA dorks, and I can tell you about why I don't like him. Look at his cheekbones. I mean, is he like smuggling chestnuts or what? So, yeah. I mean, he'll paint up and he'll be okay, but I'm not buying any more FAA figures. This guy, I think, is part of, there's like a down German bomber crew or something like that. And I think this is part of that set. Yeah. The rest of the stuff's okay. I mean, he's got good detail on his equipment. They got their feet are a little small, but they're okay. You know what? This guy looks like this guy looks like the guy that's on the cover of that game called Trenchfoot. Go look at that World War One game. I think it's actually Frank Chadwick game by Game Designers Workshop. I believe it's Game Designers Workshop called Trenchfoot. It's a man-to-man action of in World War One. And there's a guy on the cover that everybody makes fun of the cover that, oh, he looks so stupid. His head looks just like this guy right here. Trenchfoot. Look it up. I don't make this shit up. At one point, I thought I wanted to get that game, and then I read how it goes. You have to pre-plot everybody's move. Like, no, no, pre-plotting is not the way to go. That's a way to like. I don't. The only reason to play a game nowadays that has pre-plotting is if like you're serving like a life sentence in a prison, and you're like, man, I gotta find a way for my parole that's coming up in 55 years to go by quicker. Oh, play a pre-plotted game, where you're plotting 12 different guys on when they're going to go from hex to hex. No, no, there's better ways to do that. All right, we're going to put this guy in the I don't love you pile. Let's see, what else we got? We got this badass, this British badass. This guy just looks like he's got a helmet cover on him. He's a non-ranked figure, which, if I needed this guy to be a sergeant, I could, paint the rank on him. But I'm going to kind of go with the flow and go what they're intended use for. This is just a guy with a Tommy gun that has no responsibilities, FAA, owned by Lost Battalion Games. They use the metal FAA figures for their Sergeant's game. And had I known nobody would have showed up to play at Historicon DBA 2 years ago, I would have played the Sergeant's demo. I've never gotten a chance to play their game. The only gripe I could say about their game is I don't like that their battlefield is extremely glossy. But it might be a fun game. Never got a chance to play it. I know which one you're talking about. A demo. They've done a demo at Historicon several times, but if I'm running all the DBA stuff, I can't just break off and do that. Yeah. So he's not an officer, but he's got a Thompson, so he's a different category. Okay. This guy's bad. These British figures. There's some really inspiring British figures here. I really, really like them, and maybe they could double as Canadians. I don't know. And apologize for stuff. This guy is definitely here's another Lance Corporal from another squad. Look at the sculpting. He's even got his mouth open. I gotta get a light in here to show you this. It's a freaking amazing figure. This figure is like dying for me to paint it. He's got a Sten submachine gun. He's got a full pack on his back. He's got his 2 chevrons there, and the little square for the unit, and the little semicircle. See, if I was filming on the computer, I could take a picture of him with my phone and show you up close. It's a freaking amazing figure. Absolutely amazing. Well done, sir. All right, let's get, then we've got, this guy's an officer, because he's got little rank plates up here. So whether he's a lieutenant or a captain or something like that, he's got his Webley. Is it Webley? Wembley? Which one is it? Beautiful figure. He's got his hand braced on there. Webley. Yeah, he's the platoon commander, whatever his name is. He'll have one. Thanks for a suggestion, Jeffrey. I'm enjoying the shit out of this. I love looking at these figures, especially, Sculptors don't get enough credit. What I do is fucking child's play. It really is. It just takes forever. I'll give you that. It takes forever. But these guys are real artists. And I was searching for what this guy looked like. My favorite sculptor, I can't find a picture of him. Can't find a picture of him. I think he'd already passed away by the time I started getting into this. I'd heard different rumors about what happened to him. I think he was working on a car and the car rolled over him, is what I heard. It's a car accident, but I don't think he was like an impact thing. I don't know. It's a shame. It's a shame because he's easily my favorite sculptor. You know, I've got a few figures from who's the guy that does the one everybody AB. And AB figures are great, okay? Except the AB figures all have like the same face. Now, it's not a problem with AB because the sculptor decided to do a face that's does not have dominant features. Okay, so it's not like the FAA guys or the guys from Britannia. It could be almost anybody at a distance. But these guys all look somewhat different and have personality, you know. When I started doing this, my buddy, he didn't like these figures for whatever reason. I don't know. Fine, and don't get them because I love them. All right, we got a guy throwing a grenade. What do you guys call them? A Miles bomb? Something like that. He's unranked. He's just a rifleman with a grenade. And it came with a separate arm, so we glued that on there. So this is just a regular rifleman dude. So there's the regular rifle. I'm curious to see how many guys I have in here. I bet I got a platoon of these guys. I bet I have a platoon. All right, I'm trying to find infantrymen that aren't. I got these specialized jokes. Here's another guy with a Thompson machine gun. He is a single chevron. So this is the assistant squad leader. And he's got some kind of a helmet cover on it to smooth out that. It almost looks like a rice picker hat. I called that because I can't remember what the hell it's called. Coolie. Okay, so we've got two squad leaders, an assistant squad leader, and an officer. All right. Here's a rifleman, but this is an early rifleman. And this is what I'm talking about. This, you bend that back, and eventually the bayonet's gonna break off. He just has it's a nice figure. It's not as nice as some of these later ones. Has a minimum of equipment. But I'm not an expert on, this guy's got Y straps, and this is the earlier pattern webbing and all that nonsense. But it looks to be an earlier figure. I'm not going to make a distinction between them. And what I like to do is, there's colors that I can use for the British uniform. What I do is I'll mix like little bits of brown and stuff in them to make them, I don't like the pants and the shirt being exactly the same color. It looks weird. They're going to fade differently. So it's not dramatic, but I do little things like that just to kind of give them some personality. So we're up to two riflemen. I got lots of guys in here. I'm just trying to poke around different stuff. The old 50, is it 51 millimeter mortar? 51 millimeter mortar crewman carrying the mortar. You got puckered lips like, whoop. Yeah, I'm going to annoy the shit out of you Brits when I start playing with British figures. Because I'll have all those ridiculous sayings that are, it'd be like you guys doing John Wayne shit. Hey, I mean nothing but respect for our cousins. You guys know that. Just don't make me eat beans and toast, please. Or black pudding, God help me. I'd rather eat beans and toast. As long as I get to pick the bean. Red beans and toast, that might be okay. Or black beans and toast, that'd be all right. But not those ones that are in ketchup. No. Here's another Sten machine gunner. This guy is another squad leader and a corporal, and it looks like he's got a mustache. Oh, this guy's captain personality. And he's got some leafage in his helmet. Another really cool figure. I don't know how many packs to make a Brits, but I bought them all. Yeah, they made 3 or 4. I got them all because I don't have any repeat figures at all. They're all individuals. You know, I actually probably wouldn't mind having some repeats, but I don't have to have them because it's like every guy is different. Everyone will have a different name, that sort of thing. Okay, more riflemen. Okay, well, who's this guy? This guy has got a hell of a mustache. And he's got his Webley. You like the helmets with scrim. I would have never known to call it that. But yeah, they're cool. They're definitely cool looking figures. He has interesting. If he's got a rank. Yeah, I can't tell what he is. This guy looks like he's higher ranked than this guy. This guy looks a bit more pompous. Got a hell of a mustache. 2 officers. I was reading something about the British. I don't remember what it was in the last couple days, and it was something along the lines of that the British officers weren't allowed to crouch. They had to basically walk like nothing was going on in the battlefield, even though there's stuff. Oh, that's what it was. It was somebody was doing a review of A Bridge Too Far, and they said that Anthony, whatever his name's character, God, I'm getting really bad about people's names. Um, there wasn't an accurate portrayal because he was crouching and running from cover to cover, and actually, British officers were supposed to basically not give a toss and walk around like inspire no lack of fear in men, so they wouldn't like panic and stuff. I thought that was interesting. Anthony Hopkins. I'm absolutely terrible about remembering actors' names. Now, here's an FAA guy that's actually not bad. Why? Because his face is covered. He's got like some kind of sweater or something like that on. He's got a sweater like Lindy beige. That's what this guy's name should be. This guy should be Lloyd. We'll make this guy Lloyd whenever we paint him. That could be a last name. He's got a Lindy beige sweater on. I hate wearing sweaters. I love wearing long sleeves. I hate wearing sweaters. Okay, we'll put him. Well, he's over in FAA land, but he's actually okay. He looks like somebody needs to be saved. Excuse me, chaps. Have you got a moment? Some guy trapped behind enemy lines. Here's another mortar. This one's in the firing position, and this one looks like it's the early infantry. I believe you're in a platoon level weapon. Up to 2 of them. Really should do the support weapons last. All right, who's this? No, that's definitely a guy last. All right, we got another Bren gunner. This guy had a separate arm, and this Bren is Delicado, a non-ranked figure. Really nice. That's two Brenganiers. And another one that's sitting on the ground. I'm actually not going to bend this guy back because you can tell how, look how his Bren gun's bent. I don't want to bend it until we go to paint him, or I could lose that, and then we're up a creek. I'm not a fan of guys that are prone, only because it's difficult to play with a figure that's prone and remember, oh yeah, by the way, this guy, even though he's shown prone, isn't. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with the figure other than that. So if we do have a platoon, we need at least 3 Bren gun guys, 1 in each squad. Here is another super cool figure doing his rifleman shot. It's like he's got his shovel sticking up through his pack. You know, SHQ, I'm not a fan of SHQ. Why? Because all their figures, at least the ones I have the same equipment on every one of them. So not only do all their faces look the same, their poses are not very dynamic, and they all have the same equipment on them. So like if everybody has the same exact equipment, it just looks like the same guy cloned over and over and over again. Every one of these guys is completely different. So 3 riflemen. Man, we better get some more riflemen in here. We're gonna have a problem. I got plenty. I'm trying to sort through them. Here's another one. Wish there was a website reviewed metal figures organized like Plastic Soldier Review. Yeah, Plastic Soldier Review is freaking amazing. Well, that's what you got me here for. Bend this guy back and carefully. Nice. Okay, 4 riflemen. Let's find more riflemen. Here's another one. It's a similar pose as the other guy. Oh, do I have a second guy in the same pose? I do. Oh, wow. He must have come in 2 different packs, the same figure. So this is Campbell. And here is Campbell's clone. You know, if this guy's named Campbell, I should call this guy Lipton. Done. The 2 boys in the same pose. Nice figure. All right. Who else do we have? Well, we have the guy that hangs out with either the 51 millimeter mortar or the Bren gun. He's prone here. Great figure. Great face on there. They almost paint themselves. Well proportioned. Yeah, they just hang out next to each other like this. Or the other way. I forget which way it is. Which he sits on whatever side the shells don't spill out of. Where he's going to get a facial. Another 51 millimeter mortar. This guy's an early figure. That's an interesting place for a piece of flash. There we go. .51 millimeter mortar, just a big grenade, so to speak. Okay, this guy is the business right here. Bren gunner, non-rank figure. Look at this guy. Really cool figure. I'm not sure if this guy is an officer. Yep, he is the second in command. So the second in command in the British squads frequently was a rifleman, and earlier was both of them were riflemen. You know, and of course this is, you know, according to TO and E, things change. You know, when you got in the battlefield. But this guy's got an Enfield. He is a Lance Corporal. He has a single chevron on there, and he's looking through the binocs. Okay, so we've got two guys. Hopefully I have at least two more of these guys. Of course, I could make any of these guys like, okay, that you're for this game, you're a Lance Corporal or whatever, but it'd be nice to have the guys that actually have the ranking on them. You know, we're going to go through those guys first. This guy is an officer, but he's missing an arm. Okay, well, we're going to come across his arm here shortly. I think it's this arm where he's pointing. Yeah, it fell off. Yeah, this is another guy with a mustache. He's got to be an officer of some sort. No, he's actually a corporal with two chevrons. And he's got this separate arm that you glue on, and he's pointing. And he's got the scrim on his helmet, and he's got a mustache as well. So he is over here in the higher ranking NCO pile. Actually, I should probably move this farther away, and then we can bring him up to the camera anyways. How's everybody doing? You guys enjoying this? Well, you guys are online with us, so it's some kind of interest. I don't know what I'm going to encounter, so it's kind of an adventure for me. And while I'm doing this, I might as well just get little bags and sort them, so when it's time to paint the bricks, we can do that. Here is just a regular rifleman. Oh, the angle got a little bit off on it. Hard for me to see what's going on. A regular rifleman here. This is great. Excellent. Well, on that note, we're going to grab a drink. No, I mean a soda. If I have scotch or something like that, whiskey, I won't care. I have probably 25 or 30 Americans that all need to be rebased. They're decent looking figures, but part of me just wants to, like, when I go to do figures, just do something different and just start them from scratch instead of going back and retrofitting something. Would you guys be offended if I use these guys as Canadians also? They double as Canadians? I don't have any Canadian vehicles. I just like the idea of, like, you know, bunch of Canadian Shermans coming up and shooting up the place and just apologizing for shit. It just sounds like it's, you know, hilarious. This is just a regular Joe Blow rifleman. It must be from a different sculpt. See how he's got the helmet kind of pushed back? I'm not a fan of that, but I don't mind one or two guys like that. Because I can tell you, when it's hot and you're wearing a helmet, man, your head gets freaking hot. So he's probably got to push back so we get some extra ventilation there. Just regular Enfield rifleman. That's seventh one we have so far. I have other ones. I just got a lot of prone guys. Kind of hard to get excited about the prone guys. Here's a guy that looks like, is he armed with anything other than a knife? He's looking for a mine. He is an unranked figure. And he's just got a bayonet out, looking to see what he can find. I'm going to put him in the rifleman pile. You know, it's a nice looking figure. He doesn't have a rifle out, but he would be just fine. Who else do we have that's standing up? That's not a support weapon guy. Because I have a lot of support weapon guys. Oh, I've got two of these badasses. I got another badass with this guy I prime black with the Bren. This is a great pose. Will all Bren guns have that silver tip? If they did, I guess I'll have to paint it. But the stainless, I don't like that look. You know, either it's all stainless or none of it is. I'm not a fan of guns that go both ways. There, I said it. Okay, this guy's mortar crew, 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 this guy's mortar crew. Here's something you don't see very often. A Brit with a flamethrower. And when I think of flamethrowers, I think of the Germans. Lots of people use flamethrowers other than Germans, but the flamethrower just seems to me a German weapon. Like it's just like I'm just used to seeing them with that. But lots of other people use flamethrowers as well. Here's a Brit with a flamethrower. Not ranked. It's a weird looking thing. Does it double as a flotation device? Well, when it's empty. This is support weapon land. How do you base your prone figures? I use bits of MDF. Let me show you one. Now, again, excuse the basing. Like, excuse the color of the basing. Let's put it that way. Let me show you a couple of examples. This is an NCO, isn't it? I can't remember what his name is. No, this guy's not an NCO. And I'll show you this as well. Now, the only thing I'm not 100% happy with is a lot of Dave Alsop's sculpts for the Germans is he liked putting German helmets with a Zeltbahn cover on them. I don't like how that looks to begin with. And when I did that, I was scared to death of doing that pattern. I could probably pull it off now, but I still don't like the way it looks. So some of these guys, I just thought about that, have a crumpled up looking helmet because there's a helmet cover on them. And I just don't like the way the Zeltbahn looks. So here's Lehman, which is just an MP40. He just has an MP40 on him. And he's just on a piece of wood, a piece of basswood. And of course, his name plate is on there. So when his chick comes up, you know who to move. And I don't put them underneath because, you know, if you move them like, okay, where's Frank's? All right, let me look. No, that's Williams. That's Dalton. That's, you know, you have to, you know, you end up, every time you pick a guy up and move him, he's gonna be moving around a little bit. So that way you can see. Usually they're moving away from you, and you'll be able to see behind them who's who. All have surnames. My partisans, I decided to make them to give them first names instead, just to do a little bit different. So, but that's how this is. There's this other figure. This is by, I believe, Platoon 20. It's a heavy machine gun. And these figures are crap. Man, they turned out well. I wish I was filming with the things. I could show you. Nice shading on the arms and stuff. This is back when I did flesh. I probably did 7 tones for flesh. And then the guy who's feeding the mechanism, okay, who's this guy? Ahrens. And Feltner. Feltner is his assistant. He just fits right here. So when it's a unit, and these aren't magnetized, so they will be. They probably don't need to be because I'm not going to travel with this stuff, but, you know, I've got lots of baking trays now. So if somebody says, hey, here's your half squad, you can just put them on there. I don't have to worry about them, you know, moving around and stuff. So I'm probably going to continue magnetizing them. But that's how these guys fit into each other. But you can see all I did was paint this green and did the woodland scenic sprinkles. That doesn't cut it anymore. Okay, that's too basic for the rest of the figure. Doesn't go along with that. So that's how these guys fit as far as a part of a unit, and that works for me. Now the only thing is if you know, if this guy like runs away, like let's say this heavy machine gun's a pain in the ass. So say Duncan's over here and decides to take a shot at him and makes this guy or kills him or whatever, you got to put some kind of a marker that the machine gun's still there, but he's not. You can figure that stuff as you go. It's not really. Make sure you kill everybody, and then you don't have that problem. But that's what my basing looks like on the prone figures. And I'm pretty happy with it. when I first started painting these figures, we gave them all a number. This is 1 and 2 and 3, and then it was like, I want to give them last names. I'm not going to change their last name. Now, let me show you the first figure I ever painted. And this is an FAA figure. Let me think if I can remember what his name is. I can't. As soon as I read it, I'll remember who he is. Rauschert. And this guy was probably painted around 1993. Not the first figure I painted. The first World War II figure I painted of this style. And there's not a whole lot of depth of color. And I don't think I'm going to use them, but I just kind of keep them for nostalgic purposes. It's not a bad figure. Just needs to be repainted if I'm going to use them. And then this guy, his nameplate fell off. Well, my wife she came and visited me when we were dating. And I showed her all my stuff. And she actually took one of my figures without asking. She went and took one of my figures and took it back to her, just kind of a memento. She brought him back. And the guy she picked is this guy right here. Now, this guy's last name was Kraus. But because he looks so almost dorky-like, we always called him Cartoon Kraut. So I don't know if I'm going to repaint this figure because there's some nostalgia there, but I do my face tones a lot better than that. It didn't take long I only did a few figures that look like this, and the rest of them just, But this is the first figure I painted in old Cartoon Kraut. All the figures she took Cartoon Kraut. There was a history for that guy. So I got lots of Germans, for instance, that I've done the basing. I just haven't done the basing. So in other words, I've redone it. I just haven't painted. Maybe that's what I should do next. But I'm getting. So here is a Battlefield Miniatures German, and these figures are no longer available anymore. And excuse me, my second favorite figure manufacturer. We got to get better light in here. Let's try something. Let's see if we can pull this off. I don't use this for anything. Let's fire up the computer as a power source. This is so much better than watching television. Doing this shit with you guys. We don't need a microphone, so let's plug in this little light. And this is a little USB light that, will it turn on without the computer being on? No, we need to fire up the computer. Now will it turn on? Yes, okay. So I have this little clamp light. And I should be able to manipulate this however the F I want. This is something my wife got free. I really haven't used much of this. Now we should be able to turn this however we damn well please. And let's see. Man, there's some lights in here. Let's see what we got here. See if we can kill some of these shadows. I think this is better. It's going to wash out the colors a little bit because I can't alter the whatever color this is, right? No, this is just on or off. That's all you get. So here is, let's move this down here. So get it out of my way. There we go. There we go. Now it's a show. Okay, this is a Battlefield's figure. He has a unique style. He is kind of the opposite of Britannia. His feet tend to be bigger. The Britannia has smaller feet. He has big feet. The only problem with this figure, other than they're out of business, is that sometimes the weapons are a little frail. If you look at this MP40, it's really pretty thin. So you go back and forth and it's messed up. But he has the ranking. The rank is built into the figure. Yeah, there we go. This is Battlefield. This is a Battlefield figure, and he is the Bear Man. So you can tell he had the old basing. I'm going to repaint the basing and put tufts on him. This guy's going to look stellar. And he's got the Panzerfaust on there. And this is an operator. This guy's name starts with an O, I believe. Nope, I was wrong. This is, oh, look, I don't care how small it is. I have seen Simon Soldier's ranges. The problem is his shipping is brutal. And I don't mean his shipping. He's not the one responsible. It cost a fortune to get things from Australia. And I don't need anything, luckily. Bloom, look, I don't care how small a nameplate is. You get umlauts if your name gets it. And he's a radio operator. Great face. I'm just doing paint by numbers, man. It's the sculptor gets all the credit. He's got a wound badge. He's got a wound badge or something like that on his arm. And his sleeves are kind of oversized. Their heads are a little on the smaller side, but I like them. They got a lot of personality. All of them are different. I believe these guys are from this, well, not this one, but I believe this guy's from the Stalingrad range that came out just before I got out of World War II. And fortunately, I bought them all because they're not available anymore. So I got lots of cool Germans and lots of cool Russians to paint up for that. All right, so that's probably what I should do today. I should probably do some basing and get these guys to look like... Who's this? Hirsch. Let's look at Hirsch. He is an unranked figure. He's got an MP40. He just needs tufts. I don't think I'm going to put static grass on these guys. I'm going to use tufts for the figures. I mean, the muscles that the guy put, I mean, I painted it, but there's actual like indentations there for the muscles. Great looking figure. Langer's another great looking figure. This guy's got a Zeltbahn helmet cover, and I just didn't paint it like that. So it looks like he's got a bumpy type head. But this guy was painted in the 90s. Anyhow, good stuff. So I have probably 30 I have plenty of Germans. I don't have to paint any Germans for a while unless I need something special. But they do need to be rebased so that they can look, so I can like how they look better. There. I'm glad this light was a hit. I've had it for 4 years and not done anything with it. I finally found a use for it. I don't mind doing this at all. What I don't want to do is not do it live because it's like, it's hard to stay on track. So the bad thing is you guys are only seeing this in 720 because the phone knows, YouTube knows this is a mobile connection and it gets dumbed down to 720. So, but I think it looks good enough for you guys to get the idea of what exactly this stuff is. Right. This guy, Rifleman, another guy with a helmet kind of pushed back. His bayonet's going to break. If his bayonet breaks, he's still okay. Just a basic figure. Another Rifleman from they were called Combat Miniatures when I bought them. They used to have a million different freaking names. But it's Dave Alsop's cast. And here's another Rifleman at the ready. This guy has an entrenchment tool, also known as a shovel, stuck through his pack for personality. And he comes with a free mustache, no additional charge. And he's an unranked figure. Could you have a mustache as a regular private? in the British Army in the Second World War? Would we have to come in and grind that off? Anal. Okay, this guy is an officer. Let's move this a little bit and move this a little bit. Get my elbow on here. He's got a Webley out. He's over there in officer land. Got 3 of them so far. This guy started painting him and ran out of whatever. This guy's just a rifleman with a grenade. Kind of hard to tell. Kind of hard to see his face. Those are some great figures there. Almost makes me want to move over from 15 millimeter. If I had to do it all over again, I'd do this scale again. It's because the problem I have with 15 millimeters, a lot of their vehicles are very imprecise looking. They look like soft edged when they should be hard edged. I don't know. I just, I'm doing actual scale. I would do 15 millimeter would be my second choice. When I started doing this, there weren't very many 15 millimeter options, and I want them all to look different because they all have a different personality. Their skills are different. This is almost like a role-playing game, except you're not searching for traps or none of that, none of the artsy bullshit in a role-playing game, But when you're running 5 guys and one of them's killed, it's a problem. It's like personal. It should be. Not like, I just lost another 12. No, you don't get to play anymore, Okay. This is the guy for the laying down 50 millimeter mortar, and he's got the Mills bomb. That's what that's called. That's what you guys call grenades, right? Mills bomb. This guy just sits with it. He just sits with the mortar, hangs out with him. So he needs to go over in that group. He hangs out with this guy. Yeah, these guys are a pair, like so. So there's got to be a pair of guys. There's got to be one guy that goes with him, and there's got to be one guy that goes with him. And I got lots of mortarmen, but they're the 3-inch kind. Video dropping out. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't do anything about it. I'm no good that way. Here's another rifleman that's also chucking a grenade. He's got some scrim. Who we got here? Some of these guys are porting a lot of weapons. We got a prone guy here with an Enfield. One of these guys would go well with. We already have a guy for the laying down Bren. So this guy's just all by himself. This guy started painting him, and he's kind of a badass pose. Pants are a bit bright. We'll repaint him with scrim. We got this guy that's laying down. Oh, his bayonet's about to go bye-bye. Oh well. He came with a separate head for whatever reason. What else we have that's here's an NCO. Here's a corporal that's laying on his belly. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to be out and talk. Well, maybe they're just talking about officers. He's got his rank badge there on his arm with the Sten. All right, so he goes in this pile. We got 4 of them. All right, and then we got, is that all the regular infantry? We have this guy. Is he the same pose as this fellow? I think he is. For whatever reason, I got some repeat figures. Okay, so he needs an arm that's pointing as well. Okay, so I got 2 of these pointers. The Pointer Sisters. Yeah, with the mustache. And a separate arm. This guy's a radio man. Calling something in. He's equipped with a Webley. And he's calling in the coordinates. He's a foe. FO. All right, he goes in the specialist pile. Over here with the flamethrower. All right, now we got a bunch of oddball stuff, including one of the most useless figures almost always is the mine clearing dude. Like, if you're you're not gonna do a scenario where you're cleaning mines, and if you are, you're not gonna do it with one dude. Not a fan of mine clearing, folks. You know, as making them as figures. Now, I got some odds and ends here. We got some loose arms and stuff like that. I got a loose head. One of these figures does not have a head on it, and he's a prone figure. Where did I come across him? Here he is. He's just a regular rifleman. Oh, is he a sniper? No. No, I don't have any British snipers. Sorry. Sorry about that. Or Canadian ones. So we got to glue. We'll have to glue his head down, but he goes in the rifleman pile. That's all the riflemen. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Divided by 3 is 6 riflemen in each squad. I got a Bren gunner for each. Now we're up to 7. 2 officers, 8 and 9. Yeah, enough for a platoon. A platoon that's taken some casualties. There is a loose arm here with a rifle. So the rest of these guys here, let's see if I can tilt this a little bit, are all some form of support weapon folks. Some variation of support weapon stuff. Okay, and so we've got a guy that's just sitting around. That's early war. This guy is kind of later. This guy's obviously a machine gun. He's got the machine gun canister, the box there for it. We got the guy with the Piat. And this must be the guy with the Piat. This must be the Piat. Nope, that's the machine gun. Where's the Piat helper? Is it this guy? I think this is the Piat helper. The Piat and the Piat helper. So they're specialized. I think I have another Piat right here somewhere. This guy's carrying. Oh, they're interlocked. We got here. Okay, those guys are like so. This guy has a Sten machine gun. He's a Lance Corporal, and he has the ammo boxes for the not a Lance Corporal. He's a Corporal. And he's got the boxes for. So he would go with, say, this guy. Mortar. That's a big mortar. Here's the Vickers carrying guy. Early war with a water cooling canister. And this is all one piece. So this is super sturdy. They don't have to worry about these pieces falling off of them. It's pretty sturdy. This guy's carrying a ton of ammo for, is this piot ammo or is this mortar ammo? What kind of ammo is that? I'm not an ammo expert. What's the piot look like? I don't know what that is. Anyway, some kind of ammo handler. This guy's carrying a 51 millimeter mortar. I'll put him over in the 51 millimeter mortar pile. I think we have enough of those. We got 3. 81 millimeter ammo. Here's the base plate. Here's the base plate, and this is the guy that has that arm. Okay, so we're going to put these two guys together. We've got some seated figures. Here's the old water-cooled Vickers. Here's a water-cooled Vickers, and who's running that thing? This guy's an FO or FO. Where's the other FO guy? Over here. That's an annoying sound. No, that's the sound that the chair makes now. Nice. Where's the guy what's the guy that's firing the Vickers? Oh, it's probably this guy right here. And he's got both his arms are not glued. So he's going to hang out with a machine gun. We're going to put them in the same little box. Okay, that's that early type looking guy. So where's the guy feeding ammo? This guy could probably work. And then this guy. So if I put those guys together as a machine gun crew. Oh, this guy, of course. And I might just put these all in a support weapons thing. We got more guys with 81 millimeter ammo. This guy is machine gun ammo, so that's over in the machine gunners. This guy's dropping it down the tube. This is another guy handing him around. This is the mortar being moved. So this guy and the base plate guy, where's the base plate guy? Yeah. Those guys are a team. What's this? Another mortar moving. This guy is a lance corporal with a map. He's got a single chevron. Is that a chevron? No, it's not. It's just a, okay, so this is just a regular Tommy guy. And here's the guy measuring the distance. That's for the mortar crew, isn't it? And here's another mortar crew moving. And I got 3 seated figures here that go for my little Bren carrier, along with, it's like some Bren carrier pieces. It's laying around here somewhere. And then here's the mortar and the base plate. This guy is machine gun ammo. And this guy is a very animated figure. And this is the water cool part, a little water cool canister for the Vickers. And this stuff goes with the Brent carrier. Okay, so that's, I think, what we need to do. So I'm going to put all the machine gun guys together. I'm going to put all the mortar guys together. all the special stuff. All right, let's go get now to find my bags. Mein Bagen could be either the Piat ammo box has 3-tube design. So maybe that's the Piat. I only have one Piat. No, do I have two? How many Piats do I have? One. I don't know what this is. It just seems awfully big for the mortar. Unless there's like 2 rounds there back to back. I honestly don't know. But I only have one Piat. Which I don't really need more than one, but 2 would be nice. I got a lot of figures to paint before I'm worried about a Piat. All right, where is my bag of bags? I hope it's not in the garage. I literally have a bag that's just all kinds of freaking mini bags in it. I don't want to just throw these back in the same thing, otherwise I didn't do anything useful other than entertain you guys. Well, and myself. I was entertained. Are you not entertained? That's all the bricks that I have, unless they're stuck somewhere else they shouldn't be. Brits / Canadians. I'll be right back. Well, I couldn't find it. I couldn't find them, which means I'm just going to have to do this with bags that are much larger, unfortunately. Maybe sandwich bags, yeah. Sandwich bags are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's put these away in these 8 bags. I think 8's enough. There's no point in doing all this sorting and then, throw them back in. Might as well have some value to it. Okay. So, we're going to take all the riflemen, put all the rifle folks together. Place them in here carefully. So, not only do I have a lot of figures, I got a lot of figures I want to paint that I'm really happy with the sculpts. Now, I'm going to leave this open. I may put the Bren Gunners in there with them because they're part of the integral part of the squad. So the specialized stuff, all the mortars, these weirdos, Pyatt, we'll put them together. Then all the other stuff, which is the big mortars, I'm guessing, we'll put all these together. Which the problem with the mortars is if they're on the board, there's a lot of the board they're not able to fire at because of minimum range. Okay, you want to keep the Vickers machine gun crew together. That was kind of a pain in the butt to figure out what's going on. Vickers! Whoops! I'm going to put the Bren crew by itself. And I'm going to put all the officers together. And we have enough for a platoon. So, that's good. That's plenty. I actually have a scenario book. The Epsom scenario book. I don't think any of it has more infantry than this. You play a scenario that big, and it's going to take a long time to resolve itself through it. I don't know if those scenarios are really well balanced for this rule set. It ultimately doesn't really matter. And, it's a penny for my thoughts. I'm going to put these Bren gun carrier folks here. All right, now we got everything together. Now we're going to set them. Oh, we want to talk about that. All right, we'll show that. We'll show that to you guys in a second. Although they're not Brits. All right, where is my bag of Brits? Well, okay, if we're going to have all this, then we're going to need a bigger bag for the Brits. And I'm going to go ahead and label the bag Brits, so it's easier to find. And that way we actually did something useful, other than entertaining. I don't know that I have a big Sharpie. A fat Sharpie. Oh, you're fat Sharpie. Okay. Very cool, very cool. Is this a fat Sharpie? Yeah, but it's in silver. That's a weird color. Now, let's just attempt to write on here, Brit. Oh, there is a label for it. That's unusual. These are better Ziploc bags than I'm used to. I know, it works better when you write on it before. Yeah, no kidding. It also works better if you have one that actually writes. Great. Doesn't like to write on this surface. What is the problem, officer? Let's try this one. Okay, that's just going to have to work. So here are the bricks together. All right. That was useful. They do a whole freaking show on just the Germans. The Germans alone is just a shit show of stuff. Same thing with the Russians. I have a ton of Russians. Although I want to say we've gone through the Russians before. Relatively recently. So I like all the British figures that I have. I don't like all the German figures that I have. I've got some stuff that's just not very good. So what's in this bag? Okay, well, this is a self-propelled gun crew for the U.S. for those M10s I don't have. From Battlefield Miniatures, or Drew's Militia, as it was called back then. Oh, actually... Oh, they're Brits! Oh, bloody hell! They're Brits! I thought those were US... Okay, so I have a U.S. self-propelled gun crew somewhere. So they are Brits. Well, it makes sense that they were in the British bin. I did not know that. I did not know that. Oh, that's grand. I didn't know I had these guys. Well, that's excellent, because I got some dismounted tank crewmen. Oh, here's a high-ranking pompous fuck. Look, he's got the little thing on his shoulders or whatever. The little, I just graduated from tank school, and it's nice. Just get mud all over you and go fight some Jerry's. So I'm probably going to paint these guys sooner rather than later, because it's guys we can use for the tank. Holy smokes! And when you have so much shit and you haven't bought it in so long. Well, these guys would normally go in the Brit box. I'm not. I'm going to leave them up here because these are for this scenario. Look at that. These are for this scenario. As a matter of fact, that's a pretty damn good candidate for what I should do next. At least put them on pennies. Now I got to find where my pennies are at. One of these days I'll finally move in here. I did not know I had that. Wow, that's amazing. That's really amazing. Okay, well, I gotta find pennies. Because that's fair game. That's for this scenario. So I'm going to have to do the unthinkable. Well, what the hell's that? I'm going to take some of these pennies off these Jerry's. Unless you guys want to see more figures, you tell me. We can sort all our German figures. I don't know if I got enough Ziploc bags. Enough small ones. Is these Germans or these Russians? Oh, these are Russians. Man, I got a lot of Russians. More figures! We've sorted the Russians before. So let's leave the Russians alone. And I got some really cool Russian figures in there. We do need to grab some pennies. So, what's this? This is a pile of ugly Germans. These are Germans that I don't care for. All right. Now, a lot of these actually paint up okay. And a lot of them just, there's no hope in them. So you guys can determine what's what. More figures! The people have spoken. Surely you can get a bag of pennies. Well, I bet you can get 100 for $1. That's right. I don't have any. I don't have any change. So I'm going to pop some of these off. Comrade Popov. Let's see what kind of dogs are in here. And I bet there are definitely some dogs in here. These are figures I'm not proud of. Okay, I don't know what the hell's in here. It says Germans. I don't know how I got these. This is probably a hand-me-down, so these guys probably suck. Let's see what we got here. Oh, they're FAA guys. Oh, yeah, they look... You know, they have a face. I'm a fan of Iron Maiden, but I don't want my figures to look like... Every one of my figures to look like Eddie. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what they look like, you know? Yeah, look at this extra flashing and stuff on here. These are and some of them have like MP44s and shit like that. This guy's got an MP44 with, you know, one of these. Oh, he's got the night sights and everything. Oh, you know, the defenders of Europe. Fuck these guys, you know. What is this figure? What nationality is this figure? Look at that helmet. It's a sorry rendition of everything. He's got puttees on. It almost looks like he's French. This guy looks like he's got night vision goggles, but the casting on these is terrible. There's all kinds of flash. I mean, that's fixable, but... Oh, here's another guy that sucks. He's part of the same thing. It almost looks like it's like a Polish helmet, but I know I've never bought any Polish figures. They might have just stuck them in here. Yeah, I don't like these. I don't like these guys at all. These guys suck. Bunch of Wehrmacht 46 type figures. Look at this guy. It's Eddie with the cheekbones. Yeah, I don't like these. These guys suck. I might be able to use one or two, but super prominent cheekbones. I saw an article one time, and one of those things that I wake up and it's apparently a sign of beauty. Women that have really big cheekbones. I tell you what, I don't like them. I'm not a fan of them. I don't need a sunken face either. How about something in between the two? Okay. Those were dogs. Let's see what else we got in here. Oh, speaking of dogs, here's some other dogs. These guys, I believe, are from... I believe these guys came with the Krupp-Protz trucks that Krupp-Protz, whatever they're called, that I got from Lizard's Grin. And these figures are actually, even though they're shitty, they're better looking than those FAA guys because they have a normal features looking face, right? They just have no personality, you know, but it's some seated figures. I guess there's two of them. And then you got this officer with this, well, his hat looks all wrong. It doesn't look like a German's officer's hat. It almost looks like MacArthur's hat. If you cobble together certain desirable features, you end up with Skeletor. He-Man! What kind of a fucked up looking army is this? Skeletor. You've seen all those He-Man things with Robot Chicken, right? Oh, here he is. Here is this. This guy looks like Guderian, but he's a fat Guderian from Britannia. Look at that guy. Looks like Guderian is a British officer or something like that. He looks... How do you say in German? Came for the miniature, staying for the Skeletor impersonators, yeah. Yeah, there's this one guy that I meet at conventions, and we go back and forth with a Skeletor thing. And I haven't watched that shit in, I don't know, 40 years? How old am I? Yeah, 40 years. But it's just very distinct. Yeah. This guy sucks. Hey, this might be a great figure to paint up, and he's like, your mission is to assassinate this asshole. Got a monocle and everything. Guderian didn't have a monocle. He just had that mustache that you're wondering, are you trying to grow a mustache or not? Like, either grow a mustache or don't. All right. What the hell were these guys in here for? Oh, these figures, even though they're like boring, are actually okay. The problem is they don't do me any good to put seated figures inside of a vehicle because I'm not going to leave them in the vehicle because it's like, hey, who's in the vehicle? Well, there's actually nobody really there. So I'd rather actually have an empty vehicle than one that has figures in them. Then you have to say, see all that crowd that's in there? They're not really there. All right, more dogs. Here's more FAA junk. And what's really worse is when you get these little dime bag looking things. I guess that's what you guys that do drugs call them. I don't know. But look, it's hole punch right where the seal is. So it's like, it doesn't even close properly. But then it does close properly when you want to try to get in it. Get me in here, you. What's in here? This is obviously a heavy machine gun from FAA. A grenade that somebody's missing. A base plate for a mortar. That's important. Set that off to the side. Pretty sure my buddy made this. A bunch of ammo and stuff. Then painted up. Well, we never played the game. Here's a crewman. His face isn't horrible, but it doesn't inspire me to paint him. I'm not like, oh, I can't wait to paint this guy, I have one of these guys actually painted. I have an observer from FAA painted. And again, he's okay. He's a little necky, right? That steel helmet's not really protecting his neck very well, if that's what it looks like. He's a little necky, but he doesn't look too bad. And the heavy machine gun. I'm going to set that off to the side. That needs to go with something else. There's other parts. I'm pretty sure this is a combat miniatures grenade that broke off. I think I know exactly which guy it is. So these guys need to be sorted somewhere else. All right. I'm not going to keep that shitty little bag. All right. What's in here? Some nice and random things. Okay. Here's more FAA guys. I believe this is some of that like down bomber crew type thing. We have these. I should paint some of these guys, even though he looks shitty. But this is kind of like a civilian guy. He could double as a partisan type dude. I actually don't mind their hands, and I don't mind their figures. It's just their faces that are a bit much. And this guy's part of the bomber crew with a cigar. Who do you think you are, Adolf Galland? Oh, it's part of bomber crew. So this is what FAA thought all British women in 1940 looked like. Looks a bit inbred to me. She's got some nice shoulders on that woman. Woo! You better be fast to get away from her. You will finish your porridge. And then this is kind of an annoying figure. It's got two figures in one. So I guess it's like, you can play this and... God, they have a dumb helmet on. Nazis with a dumb helmet. And looks like he's got yoga pants on. Because they're... Oh, man. That's part of the bomber crew. A priest. I don't know what a priest would be doing, and he's actually has keys dangling here. This would actually be an interesting figure for my French town. Oh, it looks like he needs a church. Based on Hilda Ogden, a character from one of our soaps. She attractive? Probably not if she looks like that. Hilda Ogden. I got my computer booted up. Let's find out. I hope I don't get any suggestions for like ugly ladies. She's probably a nice lady in real life. Hilda Ogden. Speaking of which, I need to go back and finish watching Allo Allo. I started season 2. It's amusing. I'm disappointed that my daughter and my wife didn't want to watch it with me, because that would have been an opportunity to watch something together. Hilda Ogden. If it was done in modern day, it would be, yeah, I can see that. Oh yeah, hold on. Oh yeah, that's totally her. Oh, we're gonna have to call this one Hilda. I'm trying. Nah, probably make her generic. That way we can use her for France, whatever. Are there women this unattractive in France? I'm just saying. Yeah, I just started season 2 of Allo Allo. A lot of those shows from like the early '80s, they're very grainy looking. Okay, so we got a priest. Cool. You got the guy smuggling the package. Who else is here? Oh, don't go to war with a billy club. Do you have the nuns with hobnailed boots? I don't. Does the Church of England have nuns? That's a good question. I don't know. Because you guys are like Catholic light. It's the same freaking thing. Your priest can marry, right? I think so. It's the same but different. Catholic, Anglican, and Lutheran are like almost the same thing. Yeah, this guy's a bomber crewman. Silly ass hats. They've got the speakers built into them. They just look dumb. All right, let's put the bomber crew guys together. Yeah, the guy with the billy club. Yeah, can't use this guy in France. Sorry about that. Oh, and he's got his little cap, his little peak cap on the side. How am I going to paint those little checkerboard really small? And then this is a flight guy looking for a map. So he's part of the bomber crew as well. Okay. All right. Don't need that little. These shitty little bags that don't close well. Or you guys still enjoying this? I am. I'm having a great time. I don't have to see. This is why I don't want to like. I got to get this done by a convention. Fuck that. Let's just. Hey, sometimes we just want to have a good time. Look through figures that I haven't looked at, and hell, I don't even know what's here. Speaking of, I don't know what's here. Here's another. These must all sit together in the bag of the of those guys from Britannia that are looking at a map thing. This guy. Here's another guy. This guy looks like a. I mean, look how big his freaking head is. He'd probably paint up okay. I'm just not, dying to paint him. Another assassination target. Okay, more dogs. These guys, I believe, are Platoon 20. And some of these, which is that Rauschert guy that was one of the first guys I painted, and Cartoon Kraut, both of those come from this line. So even though these figures are kind of generic, they'll paint up okay. They're just not wonderful or anything. Like, look at this guy. This German guy is yodeling. Oh, throwing a grenade, you know. Sorry, I'm not a good yodeler. I saved all my talent for my Skeletor impersonation, which means if I didn't do that very well, there's no hope for me. And you got this guy is this guy looks suspect. This guy looks like he's got an SS smock on. Maybe we should do an assassination attempt on this guy. Maybe we're gonna have the Canadians go after him. Okay, okay looking figure. I've never painted SS camo before. Should do that as a challenge. This figure is kind of uninspiring, but a good, decent pose. You see, I tried to paint him. This is, I guess, the real early ones I based in what do you call that? Field gray. Got some submachine gunners here with like some kind of smock. These were painted like in the 80s. Or attempted to paint them in the 80s. There's some hope to these guys. This is another one of these machine gunners. That heavy machine gunner came from this manufacturer. And another guy with a smock. Again, their faces are lame. But this face is much better than, even though it has less detail, than this face. I mean, first of all, this guy's got a swelling problem, okay? He got bit by some bee. He got stung by some bee and he was allergic to it. And he had a big head to begin with. This guy's at least in the right proportions. He may not be very exciting looking, but he's proportioned correctly. All right. More dogs. Here's figures you guys hadn't seen in a long time. So when we used to go and take trips down to Tampa, that I got into this 20 millimeter scale stuff, and eventually I have to take some of these pennies and de-glue them, pop them off. I came across those figures for the first time called Drew's Militia, which eventually ended up being all kinds of different versions of them. And some of the early Drew Militia stuff is not very good. I don't know if it's the same sculptor that Simon Soldiers uses or there was multiple sculptors, but these that are in this bag are Drew's Militia guys that are not very well crafted. Now, with that said, they may paint up okay. So let's just take a look and see what we got here. I do kind of, there is a bit of a thrill of painting ugly, and you guys know this, painting figures that are ugly. Like, oh, I'd never paint those figures. And then paint them up and, like, you know, you make them look decent. So here's a German rifleman. And this was marketed as Drew's Militia. And some of the equipment is just sloppy looking. I don't know. He might paint up okay. He's got kind of a odd looking face. I don't really know what's going on there. It's a bit of a blank canvas. And here's a kneeling rifleman. Same manufacturer. These guys, I bagged them all together because they're all the same. They're all cousins from the same manufacturer. They almost looks like the paintings, the sculpting style of maybe like an Outpost War Game Services or something like that. They're 15s. It's that type of, like, it's not great, but it'll work. Like if I had these guys, I'd paint them up and they'd do okay. Actually, they'd probably look okay now because I paint better than this shit. Okay. I mean, these were painted even before we were even doing this game. I think I was going to use them for like play command decision in 20 millimeter or something like that. Here's a guy with an MP40. Hey, the Hoffman. And he's not terrible, but he's just kind of hard to get excited about. He's got a face that's got something going on, and I don't really know what it is. But I like challenges, so maybe painting some of these figures that are like not very good. Well, I got new figures. Oh no, these figures are 30 years old or older. We're just kind of going. We're doing a figure dive today. Diving for figures. This guy's almost of the Remember that guy that my daughter hates in Saving Private Ryan that has the Garand and he's sitting on the stairway and my daughter will never forgive him for what he was doing. This is kind of the same pose that guy is like, what? He doesn't look very German like, and just in the helmet just isn't very. It almost looks like an M1 helmet. Not very good, and I think really highly of some of the sculpts by Drew's Militia. This isn't one of them. But this would be kind of like the early Airfix figures or the early minifigs, right? The strip minifigs. Like I like minifigs in 15 millimeter, but the strip minifigs, I'd never seen them before. When I did, I'm like, oh my God, that's terrible. Here's another unassuming guy. He just doesn't have any personality, you know? And the guy standing up with an MP40. Might actually be useful as a guy. Just I need a guy that's carrying an MP40 that isn't an NCO. Okay, use this guy. Right? He doesn't have a pistol, right? Yeah, no pistol. This might be a good candidate for him. I mean, he might actually paint okay. Now, this figure is actually kind of cool, and I actually wish there was more figures like this. If you've built any 1/35th scale tanks, you always know that you've got these prototypical German Panzer Grenadiers, and one thing that the German Panzer Grenadiers have, they have like these rubber bands that stick around their steel helmet to like put scrim and things in, right? I'm gonna have to keep using that word to remember. Little blades of grass and shit like that. Well, this guy's got those little straps on his helmet, those little rubber bands. And he's carrying an MP40. And I have to clean up the barrel end for that. It just looks kind of all thrown together. But I actually think this guy will actually paint up okay. Those straps tend to be almost like white or off-white. Here is now this guy has kind of a dominant face. This is the assistant for the MG 34, 42, whatever kind. He's got the tall boots. It's probably a 34, even though they didn't come with one in this set. But he's got kind of a face that you could put some detail on. I actually think he'll paint up okay. These guys actually look better than I remember them. And, I'm up for the challenge of painting somebody that's like, that figure's no good. Well, you paint up like, man, that looks really good. Yeah, just give them some TLC, And then here's another unassuming rifleman. So I'm going to take the pennies off of these unassuming, unexciting figures. How many do I need? How many are on the British tank crew? 6 or 8 or something like that. Let's just take this guy off. Leave these 3. Take this off. This. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. That 9 should be enough. And we're going to pop those guys. We're going to pop that off. And then we'll go back to the figures. I want to do this so that I don't forget. Now, I don't want to use this brand new blade. This is a job for a shitty one. And I probably should use some eye protection. And I don't know where it is. So I'm just going to use glasses and hope for the best. But I do tend to close my eyes when I do this. So all I'm going to do, this is super glued down. All I like to do is find the edge. And of course, this is aged super glue now. These things probably super glued 25 years ago, maybe longer. And this is why I don't use super glue for stuff, because it has no tensile strength at all. So there's one, okay? See for a spot that has the biggest gap. Two. I can't believe I found those British tank crewmen. That's amazing. And they're good looking figures. I got a lunch date I got to go to at 1, so I don't want to get involved in something super complicated. But one of the things I did want to do today is I did want to set up some of the battlefield to see what it looks like. What maybe it needs. I'm probably going to use the counter in the kitchen. Lay out some of those woods, see exactly what they look like, the trees, and go from there. So that's going to be a lot easier to do that today when I kind of have an open-ended timeline as opposed to at the end of work. Now I put surnames on all of my figures except the tank crewmen because they're going to be generic. There's going to be names for the actual tank crewmen on their sheet, but you don't need to use the figure for them unless something goes wrong with the tank. Okay, it's one of those things that you don't want to ever have to use the figure, because if you did, then that's because something bad happened. All right, this goes back here. This goes back here. I don't know that I'm going to sort these guys back exactly how they were, but it's nice to find some guys that I'm actually okay with. Now, these are some of the ugliest figures that I own. Okay, so if I'm not going to paint something, it's going to be these guys. We'll get to that. What is this pile? Okay, these are not bad figures. I don't know why they're in here. These are ones that I've stripped of my original German guys from that I painted a long time ago from Combat Miniatures. I don't know why they're together. So like this guy, this is the first MG34 guy I painted. And it's a figure actually that needs to work with a guy crouching in front of him, and I've never painted that figure. But this guy, for instance, needs to be stripped. I need to redo him. But it's a decent figure. It's a really decent figure. You know, these are all Dave Alsop sculpts. I've got a version of him painted. I don't know why I have a doubled figure, but I don't mind doubled figures. It's just, you know. All they were was painted black and some of it chipped up because, you know, they're sitting in this bag with everything else. But these are superb figures. Look at this guy. This used to be my squad leader. And he's got the Panzer Grenadier strap thing on there. This is a great figure. Great figure. Even though he has no rank. So he should probably be a lieutenant or something like that. Great figure. I don't know why these are just a regular rifleman with a Zeltbahn cover. I guess I should try doing that one time. I don't like how it looks to begin with. You know, the SS smock covers on the helmets, those look okay. Too bad they're SS. But these other ones don't, you know, they don't do anything for me. Here's another crouched guy with an MP40. These are really good figures. Crouched guy in the front. Oh no, this is a guy. This guy has a grenade. This guy has a grenade. I thought that was a crouched guy. Here's the crouched guy that runs with the MG34 guy that's something like this. They fit something like that. This guy will never hear again. That's just a bad idea, man. There's no OSHA in Nazi Germany. Not a Flammenwerfer. This is probably that loose grenade flying around. This is probably his grenade. Which, hell, I got the talent now. I wouldn't have had this back then to drill his hand out and put another grenade in there. Like, I can handle that now. See, my 15 millimeter adventure wasn't wasted. You know, I learned a lot of skills doing that stuff that I didn't have 30 years ago. Here's a guy that has a thing for Soviet submachine guns. So he's got a Pepe Shah. He's an officer, isn't he? Yep, he's like a captain or something like that. And an interesting figure here is this guy. So he's early war. He's got a Faustpatron, which is a rifle grenade that you fire out of a pistol type thing. Got one of those. I don't know why these guys in here. Oh, here's a useless figure. Well, he'd look okay in a building. What's your mission to oh, here's another guy. Actually, now that we got buildings for these guys, put a couple of these guys that are wounded in there. And you can decide what you do with them. You're going to question them or you're going to put a bullet in their head. Hey, I don't play war games to be a pacifist. Okay? You'll play a war game, you need to play it like Genghis Khan. Without the bad mustache. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and put these guys back in this bag. This is some of my least favorite figures of all of these. I don't know why these combat guys are in here. Those guys certainly don't fall in that category, but I need to stop looking at these figures, man. I'm starting to feel the juices build up of like, hey, let's paint a guy. But that's a 4-hour adventure. So we're not going to do that right now. What we're going to do is we're going to clean up the British tank crewmen, put them on there, and let's finish up the basing on some of the Germans that we have that are nearly done. Okay, we've already even have the goop on them. We just have to paint the goop. And then we'll probably call it a morning. That sound okay to you guys? I'm gonna lump all these guys together. These guys are definitely usable. And part of me is like, almost like, okay, the problem is I don't need more Germans. I need to retrofit the Germans I have. These are civvies, including, what was her name? Hilda who? Hilda Ogden. Yeah. Hey, these guys could double it. Not the British dude. But these other guys could work as civilians. They make some 3D printed civilians that are pretty cool. This stuff is just almost trash. I'm gonna lump all this together. Like it or lump it. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna find in some of these bags. I've had this stuff for decades. That's why I'm not really excited about buying new stuff. I got lots of old stuff that I really, really like and isn't available anymore. Hilda. Give me a German, the name Hoffman for me, would you? I think I already have a Hoffman. I do. You want to go see what you look like? I'm pretty sure I got a Hoffman. Let us see. Let's pull this stuff out. You guys probably get a kick out of this. These figures, all those figures are good to go. Except I need to redo their basing so it isn't an eyesore. So the basing sucks on them. And I got a couple other loose ones over here for whatever reason. Oh, just one? Okay. I'm sure I have a Hoffman. Well, we'll see. We'll find out what you look like. Okay. Yeah, see, I've done that on some of these guys. All of my basing used to look like this. And this is the problem when you didn't have the internet. You couldn't compare other people's work. Because if I saw this and saw somebody else paint in a more modern way, I'd be like, man, I love my figures, but I don't like my basing. Well, so I need to scoop off the basing and put do it in a more modern way. Oh, look, Scrim. Scrim even comes from American. This is actually a really good figure. The posing on it this is a Combat Miniatures US figure. And what's his name? Calvin. Yeah, all these guys have surnames on them. So we got some American guys here. Oh, let's find us a Hoffman. Let's see who we got. This is Soviets over here. Oh, there's American guys too. Here's an early German. Worth. And I also changed my font. My font now looks like this, and it looks... I'm happier with it. It used to just be more aerial looking. So this guy's got to be rebased. Okay, so let's see. Let's get all the... Let's find us a Hoffman. I feel like he's a machine gunner, an assistant machine gun, like an ammo guy or whatever. Okay, we got Kellner. These two old guys, we talked about them. Kaufman, I'm close. I'm close with Kaufman. And a lot of the German names are like English names, they're trades names. I think Kaufman is like the keymaster or something like that. You know, the man with the keys. Like Schneider is like a tailor. Like, why don't you just call him, Taylor? No, they come up with these long Germanic ass names, stuff like that. So a lot of the German names, they're trades name. Like, Miller is Mueller, that type of stuff. All right, we got Feltner and Ahrens. That's neither one of those two. These guys are American. This guy's American. This guy's American. Who's this guy? Lehman. He's laying on the ground. Okay. Scott, American. Willard, American. Engelman. More men's. 2 N's. So this guy's a candidate to get his base painted. Like, I've redone his basing. Okay. Freeman. His basing's done. Oh, we got some folks that settled in Poland. This is Olszewski. He's an NCO. Kreiser. He's the lieutenant, I believe. Who's that? Stefan. He's the master sergeant guy. Keller. Brandt with the rifle grenade. I had one of these guys that had a different rifle grenade in there. I brought these guys to a painting competition. I put the little German squad, and he walked away. So somebody's got one of my fucking figures. I hope you get cancer, pal. Don't take my shit. Schenke. Metzler. Schaefer. This guy sold. I painted this guy so long ago, I didn't know how to do the umlaut on the figure print. So I literally had to put the 2 dots in for the umlaut. That was probably like 95, 96. Zorner. Okay, this guy's been painted already. And then we're going to use tufts. So he can look decent. Who's this guy? Larson. Okay. The sniper. Jurgensen, the sniper. Yeah, he's got the little Panzer Grenadier type little scrim holder. And he's got a Gewehr 41. He's got a semi-automatic. And let's see some lighting. Let's get the lighting good in here. He's got the rifle look like it's got wood on it. And that rank is cast into the figure. I'm telling you, that's why I'm such a fan of this guy's work. Most of these figures are combat miniatures. They paint up superb. The Panzerschreck guy named Fram Mueller. This is another great figure. What a great face. Now they're semi-glossy a little bit, so we need to flat coat them. Now the artistic choice I did on purpose is I put the shoulder tabs and the neck tabs in like early war green. I know later in the war they went to gray. I like it in green. It makes the figure stand out more. My artistic choice. Who's this guy? Kranke. Yeah, he's got a semi-automatic rifle as well, not scoped. It's a rare weapon. I don't have very many of them. Dorman, he's one of the grenade. He's one of the mortar guys. Oh, look? It's the hippie guy. It's a hippie guy from my thing. Brossack, Halm, Hoffner. No, I don't have a Hoffman. I have a Hoffner. Niemak. Well, you should have told me that. I'm gonna make you look stupid. Hey, send me a picture of you so I can get a guy that looks like you. Why you gotta be German, man? That's the bad guys. Unless you're fighting Russians, then they're the bad guys too. Langelmann, that's a sniper. Langemann. Becker. Gluck. Littmeyer. Schneider. Yeah. This is a badass figure. This guy's badass. Badass sculpt. And I have an American equivalent of him. Where is he? The guy with the cigar. That guy's a badass guy, too. Where is he? Here he is. Who is he? Wallace. The faces are incredible. I wonder if he sculpted them based on... What's the name of that actor that doesn't belong in a war movie? Elliot Gould. Dude doesn't belong in a war movie. That'd be like me playing a hippie. That doesn't work. Lights? Okay, so this is all my... See, I got plenty of Germans. I just need to rebase them so that they look, decent. Okay, so let's put these guys back that we're definitely not going to work on their basing. I got this tank crewman. These plastic figures, these are plastic figures I painted relatively recent. And yeah, he's supposed to have blue overalls. They're actually really good sculpts. The name of the company escapes me. But they're actually really good sculpts. No more Germans over here? No. I don't have one, man. I'll have to pick a guy just for you. We'll have to create a Hoffman. And I'm going to make you a regular rifleman. There's no point. And you don't need to be special. I need an American guy named McGillicuddy. That is just a silly-ass name. Every time I hear that, I'm like, it's just got to be a made-up name. Oh, we got another German. Who is he? Vila. Bob Vila? Not spelled like that, it's not. Bob Vila. All these guys are... Oh, got another one. Oh, this is one of my favorite figures. I don't remember what his name is, though. Worth. Yeah, he's... Look at this face. Let's see if I can get some more of that. And the rifle. I mean, I really like this figure. This guy was painted with Games Workshop paint. Mark 1 Games Workshop paint. Citadel paint. I saw these sculpts in the store, and I'm like, I want to play a skirmish game with these guys' figures. I fell in love with... I'm still in love with these figures. And every single one of them is different. They just need to be brought up to where the basing is good. Simple to do. That's it for the crowds. That's it for the crowds. So, we got this for the tank crew. We're going to put these Brits back in here. I'm going to leave these Germans that have already been... Oh, I missed Vila, but we got to redo his name. We got to redo Vila's name because I don't want the old type font. So we're going to set him off to the side. These guys all have the new font? Yeah. Okay. Let's put this stuff away. Let's bring the British tank crew, glue them down, and then start working on the basing for these Germans. I don't know why this half track is sitting in here. This is an ugly ass half track. This is a... I don't even know who the hell it's made by. It's either BP Cast. I think it's BP Cast. Put this back where the vehicles are. Even though it doesn't have a base, I have several vehicles here that don't have a base. German half tracks weren't that common. No, but a lot of these figures were painted. All these figures that I really like, they're painted 1996, 1997. The only thing I did different back then is, remember, this is pre-internet, so I didn't have ideas to bounce off anybody else. We started using semi-gloss to seal them, 2 coats of semi-gloss. So I'm just going to take the lacquer, the flat lacquer, go over it with them, and call it a day. And that should work just fine. Now, I'm going to chip the shit out of this if I do this. I'm going to use this just for cutting. I don't mind cutting on it, but I don't want it to look like, an abortion when I'm done with it. Let's bring this back. That was fun. How long did that take? An hour and a half? 2 hours? It's fun. That's what we're here for, to do fun. We don't have an agenda. We got to get this done. Let's go online and see what happens. You guys can see. That was Jeffrey's suggestion. Hey, look at some figures. It's a good fucking suggestion. And a lot of these figures, either you guys have never seen them before, or you guys hadn't seen them in decades. But that's why I fell in love with 20. Why do you 20 millimeter scale? Look at these figure cast sculptings. Why would you not want to do that? They're beautiful. They have so much damn personality. I mean, this guy he made like 6 or 7 or 8 packs of Germans. Every single figure was different. Every single figure had personality. I want to keep the other side for the magnet. Now these won't have any labeling on them. Well, I'm glad I didn't buy a plastic British tank crew that I used. I did not know I had these guys. If they're on the board, then that means somebody brewed up. Or they had to bail. Odds are I'm going to need some of them for the scenario. I got 4 British tanks. 3 of them have 5-man crews. 1 of them has a 4-man crew. The Firefly has the 4-man crew. No hull machine gunner in the Firefly. I could run this over a file too, but I just want to make sure that if something's stuck on this, it's stuck well. I'm just going to put another drop of super glue over it. One of the few things I use super glue for. I think this is enough figures. Might have been 7. Might have only been 7, 6 or 7 or 8 or something. Like I got 9 pennies, so somewhere I got a huge bag of pennies. I mean, like I don't know where it is. I certainly don't want to spend the time looking for it. All right, where is the British tank crew? These chaps. Breakfast tacos. Orale! You gonna grab some tacos? No mames! We went on one of the restaurants we were on the cruise ship was a Mexican restaurant. It was called Pink Agave, I believe is what it was called. And they had a drink on there called No Mames, which, if you don't speak Spanish, is basically a Mexican colloquialism for basically stop sucking. Like, stop fucking around is basically what it means. Like, you're joshing me or, whatever. Like somebody says something, no mames, like you're full of shit. But literally that's what it means. So my brother ordered that drink specifically because when he ordered it, he could go, I want a no mames, and like the people that were working there that spoke Spanish were just like shaking their head. It's like, hey, we didn't name the fucking drink. If you want to be offended by the drink, then you should have named it something else. The No Mames drink. Okay, so this is a commander-like person. Zero flash on this figure. Has a distinct look to him. I happen to like the look of him. One chap. I don't know why this one has the... What does that mean? You tank experts on here? The little braid that's over one of the sleeves. Is that like some high-ranking dude? I guess I should look it up on the internet. And this guy's got a helmet on. So he had enough time to bail and put a helmet on. This guy, I think, has a little bit of flash, or a little bit of a panel line showing there. This guy's got, what's he got in his hand? Almost like a smoke charger or something. I don't know. It works for a figure. Like when you bail out of the vehicle, like you're not represented by this guy. Hopefully you don't need more bailouts than this. Damn, I didn't know that I had these crew members that sit in a turret. That would have been fun to put in a Firefly or something like that. Oh, we'll save it for another tank. That guy's got a shell. Yeah, and these 3 figures are just half figures. So we're going to need a piece of stickum for these guys. That's how we're going to put them on. I can't shoot them if I can't see them. Or whatever that saying was. 1, 2, 3 for these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Holy fucking hell. Exactly the correct amount. That is extremely unlikely to happen. All right, let's grab 3 little pieces of that. Let's grab the ones that are the most rough to use. So like this one and this one and maybe that one or that one. I remember somebody was saying, you can't do that with coins. That's federal property. I said, I used my hard-earned money to buy these freaking coins, and they're never going back into circulation. I can do with them whatever you want. It's not like I'm modifying them. Let's make them look like dimes and put, yeah, I'm not doing that. These are serving a very valuable purpose. Okay, we'll set these guys off to the side. Super glue. Super glue these 6 guys. I think I need more. I think I need more than that. There we go. That's awesome. I'm ecstatic. And I would have never done this if Jeffrey hadn't said, hey, let's see some figures. I didn't know I had these guys. I thought these guys, when I pulled them off, they were my US like M10 tank crewmen. I did not know I had these guys. Now, I can't base these in black right now because it's still wet like. And I think that's where we're going to stop. We're going to stop that for this evening, for this this morning. I'm probably going to be back in the evening at some point. Yeah, look at this figure. Look at this machine gunner with the freaking bandolier and everything. I'm telling you, Alsop stuff is great. And this sculptor also is for the Druze Militia or Battlefield is excellent also. But okay, folks, thanks for yeah, here's a Battlefield guy that's painted. Their stuff paints up really well too. I wanted a guy with a field cap. Anyhow, thanks for stopping by, folks. We'll see you guys soon on the next one later this evening, and we'll go from there. Bye-bye.